You know, I'm starving.
So am I. Why don't you take me to lunch?
No, I mean literally starving. I haven't had a new case in all week.
What a pity you can't go out in the street wearing a sandwich board saying, Sir John Gallagher, QC, cases in court, personal advice, solicitors catered for.
It's all right for you. You're always in work.
What's the matter, John? Only earned 20,000 this year and it's May already.
Seriously, if this goes on to the end of the month, I shall have to think about selling the Bentley.
I remember when I first joined Chambers, you told me that one of the nice things about being a barrister is that when you're out of work, you can always console yourself with the thought that someone somewhere is doing something to somebody that will end up in court.
It'll have to be something terribly expensive.
You know, I'm always amazed at the number of old school friends who turn up with work.
I didn't have any friends at school, only enemies.
I take it we're agreed, then.
We're not.
Would help if we made it unanimous, Marsh.
Vote with me, then.
Let's have the motion again, Habershaw.
This committee hereby refuses planning permission to Sir Robert Beste to develop the 73 acres situate between the M73, Duke's Lane and Lewthwaite Road.
Seconded. Mrs. Spencer French. Those in favour? Against. Motion carried.
I just hope you know what you're doing, Mr. Chairman.
I usually do.
If we'd given Beste's planning permission, there'd been hundreds of jobs around here, maybe thousands.
The motion was carried, Marsh.
And who's going to tell my members that, then? Been on dole for months, some of them. And there'll be more when Lewthwaite Quarry closes.
Motion carried by 5 votes to 1. Make sure that's minuted, will you? Right, item 7. Widening of the footpath in
coming up on this side. Inside the last furlong now, and it's a vast on the far side. It's Big Hat.
Brigadier Craig Astley, Sir Robert.
And it's Big Hat the leader now from Crucible. Alloway Lad in the vast. Big Hat, Crucible, Alloway Lad in the vast. And at the post is Big Hat the winner. Crucible second, then Alloway Lad.
My dear Dennis, how
Robert?
nice to see you. Get rid of that, will you? What'll you have? Whiskey and water, isn't it?
Thank you. How's Louise?
Well, I think. Rather, I know. She must be. She's buying things.
Oh, is she in London?
Worse than that, Paris. She's visiting her parents. Tell me, Dennis, as a matter of interest, did you ever have to buy 5 new dresses simply because you were visiting your parents? What a ridiculous question.
I've just come from the planning committee.
Oh, that little scheme of mine.
Hardly little.
It's not too grandiose, I hope.
Yes, I'm afraid it was. They turned it down.
They?
We, if you like.
Had I no friends at court?
Well, there's Marsh, of course. Quarryman's Union fella. That's all.
6 to 1.
No, 5. I didn't vote. Didn't have to.
Matter of interest, why did you turn me down?
I wasn't on, I'm afraid. This area's farmland, always has been, and it's beautiful. 73 acres of industry would have ruined it. Oh, sorry, Robert.
Oh, not at all.
I had to do it.
Thought it might be worth a try.
Well, it's good of you to take it like that.
I'm a good loser when I have to be.
Well, I'd better be off, if you'll excuse me. Got my bailiff coming.
Oh, you sure you won't have another?
No, another time. Oh, the planning committee's report goes to the council on Thursday week. But don't build your hopes up. Won't change a thing.
I won't. Decent of you to tell me yourself.
Well, that's the least I could do. Oh, goodbye, Robert. I'll let myself out.
Bye, Dennis. You antediluvian bastard. Mr. Norman Farber, please.
Who's calling?
Sir Robert Beste, yeah.
One moment.
Robert, how are you?
I'm surviving. I want a word with you.
Go ahead.
I'm not here, in London. When can I see you?
You've got something?
Not yet, but I intend to.
Oh, evening, Mr. Marsh.
Oh, hello. Slater, it is.
Hesketh, George Hesketh. You handle my redundancy pay.
Add that, forgetting the name of one of my members.
Well, we keep you busy, Mr. Marsh. Half a bit
I'll
of
get
miss.
it.
Oh, Tom.
Make it a pint.
Thanks.
You're right, George. You do keep me busy. Trying to keep you in work.
Still as bad, is it?
Oh, worse. 236 jobs gone. Another 87 when Luthway Quarry closes, and that'll be soon. The way things are going, there'll be 1,000 men out of colour in 2 years' time. Cheers.
Cheers.
Did you get anything?
Aye. Pigman for Abershaw.
Oh, what'd you pay you?
17 a week. You'd think it were his blood.
Abershaw? You mean Councillor Abershaw?
I'm making 28 in the quarries with overtime regular. You could stop bloody farming for me. We're buying a car, but that's gone. Be the bloody telly next. Just hear what the wife will say to that.
And give her my regards next time you phone her.
Of course.
We miss you, no? We miss you both.
Sentiment from you, Norman. You amaze me.
Not precisely sentiment, Robert. I've read that package of goodies you sent us.
And?
Let me see if I've got it right. You own the whole 73 acres.
I do.
A clear title, freehold.
Yeah.
It's adjacent to the new motorway.
Yeah.
The completed motorway. The nearest port's 23 miles away and London's 162.
Ah, what an admirable memory you have, Norman.
The labour force in the area is mostly low-paid farm workers, and there are 236 quarrymen out of work.
323 by next month.
By the time the estate's underway, you'll need more like 1,000.
I think they'll be available by then.
How much is that land worth to you now?
As it stands, it's farmland. Not the best, but not bad. With timber, say 20,000.
And with planning permission?
Oh, I should think your figures are more accurate than mine, Norman. I take it you do have figures.
Beautiful figures. Exquisite. I had it costed yesterday. My dear Robert, with planning permission, give or take a few thousand, your 73 acres are worth £1 million. It's nice of you to remember your old friends.
Very kind. It's just one little problem.
For £1 million, there are always problems.
We don't have planning permission.
You'll appeal.
Well, it'll be a very expensive business.
Money's no object. But I should live to hear myself say those words. You'll need lawyers. Have you anyone in mind?
Well, I thought Sir John Gallagher.
QC. Excellent.
As it happens, he's no chum.
Even better. I'll get our solicitors to call his clerk.
Yes. Haven't we better discuss terms first?
Well, I've had words with the old man. We'll put up the money for developing the estate. We'll split the cost of the planning appeal with you, and we'll split the profit with you as well. Down the middle.
Precisely what I had in mind.
Splendid. I'm really awfully grateful to you, Robert. Life's been so dreary recently. I could do with some excitement.
Rien ne va plus. Des sweet, rouge et peur.
Hi, John.
Losing.
I'm so sorry.
You should be. It's your money.
Bonjour, madame, monsieur.
I had a call from Farber's.
I adore it here. It's the, decadence.
Well, what do you think?
Oh, my luck ought to change soon.
About the planning appeal.
Oh, that.
Rien ne va plus.
Oh, I think it'll cost you a lot of money.
5 rouge en paix.
Will I win?
I've no idea.
Oh, come along, John.
I haven't seen the site, the papers, the plans, anything. Mr. Fern called to ask if I'd act for a millionaire in a merchant bank. Sounded elegant. I love elegance, so I said yes. And Robert, I never waste my time making jokes about things that don't matter.
Bonjour, madame, monsieur.
You know where it is and what it's about. You must have formed some sort of opinion.
My opinion costs a lot of money, because I don't give it lightly. Not until I have all the facts. And at the moment, I have none.
You're not the only QC in London.
Oh, don't say nasty things like that. You'll make me lose my concentration.
I recommended you to Faber's because we're old friends.
School days. Time has a habit of softening even most unpleasant memories.
We only fell out about Keats.
Oh, you couldn't stand any poetry.
You hated Rucker.
Oh, you used to kick me in the crotch.
You're going to take the case?
Well, I need the money. My taxman appears to be living in a style I can no longer afford. Yes, I'll take the case for you. I'll tell you what. Ask me down for the weekend. I'll have a look at your, garden or whatever. I'll bring a bird with me.
I'm quite prepared to stifle my objections to entertaining you in my home if it's business. But I'm not prepared to play host to your dirty weekends.
This isn't a dolly bird. It's a legal eagle. I need a junior.
I'm not concerned with details.
This one isn't a detail.
I'm paying you. I want you.
And, Harriet Peterson.
Rien ne va plus. Étoile rouge et pain.
Who the hell's Harriet Peterson?
Call her my conscience. Oh, dear Robert. We've just run out of money.
A town planning inquiry doesn't really need lawyers.
What an appalling thought.
It's true.
Well, I'd starve.
There's practically no law involved.
47, 62 acts for a
The
start.
argument always revolves around planning experts.
The planning encyclopedia alone runs to 2 enormous volumes.
And at the end of the day, all the minister does is toss a coin.
Harriet, you're very naughty. You're just saying this to be perverse.
Not really. I often wonder what right members of the bar have to call themselves lawyers when all they do is drum up expensive arguments to help the rich get richer in the cause of property development.
If I were a member of the planning bar, I think I'd sue you for slander on that.
I should plead justification.
Yes, I think you'd win.
So, why should I get involved?
Money?
2/3 of your fee?
The clerks agreed 5,000 for me.
What's so marvellous about that?
Oh, I don't know that the solicitors will go for the full 2/3.
If they want me, they'll have to.
I always knew there was a better side to your nature.
That's only the first obstacle.
Well, it doesn't have to be you.
If there were any other choice, you wouldn't have asked for me.
That's what I like about you, Harriet. You and I understand each other. Tell me about hurdle number 2.
I don't particularly want our client to win.
No, I don't care about your personal feelings. You're too conscientious to let them interfere with the way you do your job.
Agreed. But I don't have to volunteer for unpalatable work.
Well, if you get the 2/3, call it danger money.
I can't choose the side I represent. It's best or nothing. I think he's wrong. If I had a choice, I'd prefer to oppose him.
In which case, we appear to have a problem.
You do. They could be rather distressing for you. You'll have to work for your money on this one.
Oh, bother. I'd hoped you'd do it all.
What's he like?
Oh.
Best.
No. Philistine. He doesn't like Keats.
Anyone you dislike that much can't be all bad. I'll do it.
Shall I ever understand women?
I shall take a holiday from the rights of man, from the privations of the oppressed. I'll take your day trip to luxury. And you can tell your baronet that I shall be swinging from his baronial chandelier, scooping up handfuls of pound notes off the family silver as I go.
Yes, it's going splendidly.
How's the squire?
Craig Astley, po-faced as ever, running around screaming that I'm desecrating the countryside. What he really means is I'm spoiling his view. As a matter of fact, he's on his way over.
What now?
Yeah,
About the land?
yes.
Well, be careful not to give anything away.
Yes, I quite agree.
I miss you, Robert.
Yes, I miss you too, darling. When are you coming back?
Tomorrow, I hope.
Ah, good. I'm afraid you've got a lot of entertaining to do.
Nice people.
A bit dreary, but it's all in a good cause.
Oh, you mean you, darling?
Yes, the best. A blast. There he is. Craig Astley. Darling, get the first flight you can, will you? There's messes to do.
You must be very busy.
Yes, I am.
Oh, Yvonne and Jack send their love.
I'll give them mine, will you? Lots to you, darling. Love you. Bye. Yes?
Brigadier Craig Astley.
Ah, thank you, Betty. Off with you. Dennis, how nice.
Okay, Best, I've come to ask you a straight question.
Best. How very formal. There's something wrong?
You know there is.
Do I?
This damn appeal of yours.
What about it?
Well, last time we talked, you said you'd put this development business out of your mind.
I said I thought it would be worth a try. I still think that.
Why are you doing it?
Why do you think?
For the money.
Pretty good reason.
I don't think greed's a good enough reason for anything.
Not just greed, Dennis. It'll bring in a lot of benefits.
It'll destroy even more.
I respect that opinion.
You're a rich man already. What the devil do you need more for?
I believe in the law of the marketplace, Dennis. It'll give a lot of jobs to a lot of people. The fact that it'll make me a fortune in the process is just an added incentive.
I don't believe that. I think greed's your motive, and you don't give a damn for anything else.
What's your motive? Stagnation? Preserve the status quo at any price? That's not a motive, it's a disease.
And no one will thank you. You'll be condemned by the workers as a greedy capitalist and by your friends for destroying some of the best hunting in the country.
And by you, bang goes all your cheap agricultural labor.
I'm more concerned with the false hopes you'll be raising.
You think I'll lose?
Politically, we're very strong.
So are we?
Yes, I've got friends.
So have I.
But not in the right places.
I'm a gambling man, Dennis.
I'm sorry Sir John couldn't be here.
I'm not. More coffee?
Thank you. I've been through the list of objectors, and essentially it boils down to the Lewthwaite Rural District Council, the County Council, a body called the Friends of Lewthwaite Countryside, and a bunch of hotel and restaurant owners. Of these, the County Council is by far the strongest.
I should imagine so.
I notice a Brigadier Craig Astley lives at Lewthwaite Hall and is chairman of the planning committee that turned down Sir Robert's original application.
Yes.
Can you tell me anything about him?
Well, not as much as Robert can, but enough. We've compiled a little dossier. It's quite thorough.
Indeed.
Father's motto has always been to know as little as possible about one's friends and everything about one's enemies. We found it helpful in the past, Miss Peterson.
You've been very successful, I agree.
And we're not going to stop now for an ex-brigadier. He owns Lewthwaite and about 10,000 acres round about. Most of the rest belongs to Robert. He and Robert went to the same school, but they're different animals. Robert can recognize the 20th century when he sees it.
And Craig Astley?
A troglodyte. My family's owned the place for 500 years. It's always been like this, and it's going to go on being like this, because I say so.
And we say differently.
Mm-hmm.
Is he a strong man?
The local Gauleiter, according to Robert.
Sincere?
Oh, he does his best for his tenants, in a feudal sort of way.
And the land, he looks after it?
Very well. He farms more than 1,000 acres himself, and loves every foot of it.
Loves?
I never exaggerate, Miss Peterson.
I appreciate that, Mr. Farber. A sincere man, honest, with a deep love of the countryside and the courage to defend his convictions.
Stubborn. Formidable.
It'll be very difficult to discredit a witness who's giving evidence in support of ideas that most people admire.
So I should imagine. How will you do it?
I won't. Craig Astley will be Sir John's problem. He will probe with the laser he calls his brain, and I have no doubt he will come up with a chink, however small. That chink he will turn into a hole, that hole into a crater in the council's case.
I begin to feel sorry for the brigadier.
Yes, we're coming up to it now. You can see what the land's like around here, can't you?
Charming.
she is.
What happens to the farm?
It goes.
And the farmer?
He'll be happy to go, I assure you. Craig Astley's over there.
Well, you're ruining his view.
It's the one thing he hasn't accused me of. But I imagine that's what hurts him most. Any more?
Not at the moment, no.
I want photographs of the land taken from every angle.
Of course.
Make it a bad photographer, Harriet. We don't want the pictures too pretty.
Shall we?
Of course.
Yes.
Paris is changing so fast. Just like London. Hamburgers everywhere.
Cola to wash it down.
Wherever one goes. Do you ever drink it?
No, Louise. I finance it, but I don't drink it.
One day, my friend, you may have to. Oh, that'll be the lawyers. I suppose I must be very nice to them.
At least try, Louise. One of them's a woman.
Norman, you're very unkind. I like women, honestly. It's just that most of them don't like me.
Darling, let me introduce Miss Harriet Peterson.
How do you do?
How do you do, Lady Beste?
You know John, don't you? John
Of
Gallagher.
course. How are you, Sir John?
Very well, Lady Best, thank you.
You are Sir John's assistant?
And approximately true description, Lady Best, except when we're on opposite sides.
You mean you sometimes oppose this terrible man?
We are the best of enemies.
Then I think I shall like you very much. I admire courage above all things. Do you know Norman Farber?
Yes, of course. How are you?
What do you think of the countryside, Miss Peterson?
It's lovely.
If Craig Astley were here, he'd say it took 500 years to evolve this kind of beauty. And our bulldozers will knock it down in a week.
If he says that at the inquiry, what will you say, Miss Peterson?
I shall ask him how he expects his people to convert a view into a post office savings book. Because that's what this is all about. Money. A decent wage for the people who live here and decent standards. There'll be plenty of views left when the factories go up.
You'd better remember that, Sir John, when you're tearing Craig Astley to bits.
Quite.
Let's have a drink. What'll it be?
Sherry, for me, please.
Whiskey.
Whiskey.
Harriet, just a moment. Excuse us, will you?
Of course.
Oh, I meant to tell you. I ran into Olio Fine the other day.
But he's older than God.
His younger brother, according to the...
Yes, the view. Quite remarkable.
Exquisite. You've never noticed a view in your life. What is it?
Well, I don't like the line you're taking. A fair deal for the workers.
Ever not.
Well, it makes me feel guilty.
Is that important?
Extremely.
I'll let you worry about that.
Well, that may not be possible.
Here we are.
Ah.
Oh, thank you so much. Will you excuse us a moment? Boring details of work.
Oh, relax, relax.
Why won't it be possible?
My clerk spoke to me today. The Acme Insurance case is on the warrant list.
Are you telling me you're going back to London?
Probably Monday. Why not?
You accepted this brief. You have to see it through.
Well, I told the solicitors at the beginning that there could be a conflicting case.
You can't leave now, not with the sort of money you're getting.
My dear Harriet, we're not dustmen on an hourly rate. Now, what they're buying is my expertise, my concept of the case, which they will have. Now, why do you suppose I asked for you?
Acme Insurance are paying a lot more money, I suppose.
No.
Then why?
Well, you know the system. I took both cases in good faith. And if all of us took cases only when there was no possibility of a clash, we'd be mainly unemployed and no case would get to court under 10 years.
If you're making the system your excuse, at least be consistent. Return the Acme brief.
And leave them to find another leader at 24 hours' notice. A case I've prepared over 3 years. Now, that wouldn't be fair.
Then tell me what is fair.
What I'm doing. Splitting myself down the middle, which is really rather painful. Giving half to each of you. You should be grateful.
My shining hour.
I've set it all up for you. All you have to do is to go out there and shine.
Is there anything else you need, Mr. Liddell? Anything at all?
Not at the moment. I'll be back for more later.
I'll use this whenever you want, all the facilities. Do you know these two who were against us?
Oh, very well. Gallagher took silk 3 years before I did. And Miss Peterson and I have been on opposite sides several times.
Good, are they?
Neither of them specialists at this type of work, but Gallagher's dangerous. Showy, but dangerous.
And Miss Peterson?
It depends if her convictions are at stake or not.
Well, let's hope they're not.
No, it's the wrong thing to wish for. Harriet's most to be feared when she's fighting a case she doesn't believe in.
Oh. And you?
Well, planning inquiries are about as predictable as the Grand National, and so are the inspectors who run them. Modesty forbids me telling you my track record, but I don't think you need worry unduly. Now, they keep you very quiet about it. Exquisite notion.
My name is Richard Denning. I'm a fellow of the Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors and a senior planning inspector.
My name is Sir John Gallagher, one of Her Majesty's Council. With me is Miss Harriet Peterson. We appear for Sir Robert Beste, the appellant.
Patrick Liddell, one of Her Majesty's Council. With me is Mr. Peter Brigg. We represent the County Council.
Now, the appellant's case is very simple. It is a proposal to build an industrial estate on 73 acres of land at Lewthwaite. However, it is my duty, my pleasure to prove that such an estate would conform to the highest standards of planning control, that it is a rational and feasible scheme, that it can be more than adequately serviced, and that it will fill a need, a great need, you will hear, in terms of employment. Now, to establish these facts, I shall be calling witnesses, the list of which, as you have seen, sir, I can only describe as formidable. But I shall try not to be too discursive.
That means he'll go on till lunchtime at least. They must be paying him
Now,
well.
the area for development is ideally situated for its proposed use, as you will see from Plan Exhibit number 5. And statistical analysis shows that unemployment in this area will have a growth rate of 6.3% per annum if something is not done. Now, to that problem, new industrial loan is the answer.
Mr. Marsh?
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Miss Peterson, but it's urgent.
I realise that.
Can I get you something?
No, thank you.
It's Hesketh.
He's called for Thursday, isn't he?
Called, yes, but he mightn't come, though.
Why ever not?
He's lost his job. Abershaw sacked him.
What?
Well, he'll be along in a moment. He'd better tell you himself.
And I have no doubt that much will be said about the beauty of the landscape here. It is beautiful. No one denies it. Least of all my clients. But beauty does not exist in a vacuum. It is there for a man to enjoy at his leisure, when his day's work is done and his dependence provided for. And that is what this development will enable man to do. I call Sir Robert Beste.
You're a right bombshell. Here's your cards, he says, and that's it.
Is that all he said?
Up until when I were going. Then he says, you've got a nerve. Setting up as a witness against them as puts the bread in your mouth. And then the foreman told me if I don't go to the inquiry, I could have my job back.
And what have you decided?
I've got a wife, miss. 2 kids.
How much did Habershaw pay you?
17 quid a week.
You'll be as well off on dole, George.
I can't sit idle, Mr. Marsh. You know that.
You told me you want a better life, Mr. Hesketh.
I do.
And there's only one way to get it.
Supposing you lose, miss, where'll I get another job round here?
I can't give any guarantees.
No disrespect, miss, but you'll still get paid. It won't be 17 a week, 170 more like.
Lay off that, George.
Oh, no, Mr. Marsh, it's relevant. I'm being paid even more than that. And I intend to earn every penny of it.
So's bloody Best can get fat.
Well, it's either that, Mr. Hesketh, or Habershaw stays fat on what he doesn't pay you.
Oh, that's a right face, isn't it? 3 months ago, I was begging for work. Now Habershaw wants me. Craig Astley wants me, and Best wants me and all if it all goes through. Be beats me what I'm going to do.
Back the side that pays most, Mr. Hesketh. And don't give up your principles. They're yours and they're important. Fight for them.
Thank you, Sir Robert.
Very nice, Sir John. Very nice.
Sir Robert, is this the first industrial estate you've attempted?
I'm on the boards of a number of commercial companies.
As an executive director, full-time?
I have a great deal of commercial experience.
I'm sure. Now would you answer the question?
The question?
Is this the first time you've tried your hand at an industrial estate?
I have highly qualified professional advisors.
Answer the question.
Yes.
So you, personally, are not aware of any of the pitfalls that lie in the path of the industrial developer?
Well, I have advisors to do that.
Who make the decision for you?
Oh, no, of course not.
Don't be afraid, Sir Robert. We all have to learn sometime. But some of us might feel that 73 acres is rather a large testing ground.
You're supposed to be asking questions, not making speeches.
I stand corrected. My apologies to my distinguished and learned friend. Do you feel it's a bit much to bite off with your milk teeth, as 'twere?
No, I do not. Nor do my colleagues.
Ah, yes. I was hoping you'd mention that. Would you take a look at page 5 of your proof?
I beg your pardon?
Your written statement. Paragraph 4. You say, and my learned friend echoed the statement, the buildings will be tastefully designed and the whole area landscaped to blend as far as possible with the surrounding land.
Yes.
As far as possible. How far is that?
It's rather difficult to say.
How many mature trees will you be destroying?
We shall do everything in our power.
What about the panorama, vista, skyline? How much thought have you given to any of these problems?
I have professional advisors and colleagues.
Indeed. But how much is in your power, Sir Robert? Do you propose to finance this whole vast experiment on your own? Do you?
I should be very actively involved.
To the tune of £5 or £6 million. Your own resources?
Of course not, but...
Then where will it come from?
That question has nothing to do with this inquiry, sir. Even if Sir Robert were a bankrupt, which happily he's not, he would be entitled to make this application, if only to satisfy his creditors.
It has every relevance. Sir Robert Beste has just told us he does not have the money to carry out this grandiose scheme. This is of vital importance for the Minister to know if the applicant is genuine in his desire to create a new, fully integrated industrial estate, or if he is making this application simply so that he can sell to the highest bidder.
Sir Robert has already given evidence that he intends to carry the scheme through personally. Now, if you're calling him a liar, put it to him.
I've not said you've lied, Sir Robert. That was not my suggestion. We may assume you have partners, backers.
Yes.
Then tell me this. What guarantee do we have that those who do put up the money will share your views as to how it should be spent?
I'm ravenous. Now, what is all this, Harriet?
Hesketh's been fired. He'll get his job back if he keeps his mouth shut.
They really mean business, don't they?
Very ghastly, did they?
Oh, nothing so obvious. Hesketh works for Habershaw, or rather did.
Splendid. Subpoena him.
If you bring him into court by force, you'll never get him to say what you want him to say.
Well, I wanted to say he's been sacked, and why?
Well, that's a bit brutal, John. I don't think we'll need a subpoena.
He'll come anyway?
I've talked to him, I think so.
My God, what a pair.
Didn't I tell you? Miss Peterson's a very remarkable lady. So much so that I shall be leaving her to handle some of this case on her own.
I don't think I follow you, Sir John.
Well, I have a case from the commercial court. It's come up rather earlier than anyone anticipated. Early next week, in fact. I shall have to leave Miss Peterson here to carry on. I'm sorry, but it's unavoidable.
It's a bit of a bombshell.
Well, I did warn your solicitors at the beginning that there could be a conflicting case.
This could affect the whole outcome.
My dear Robert, the worst is over. These things always depend on presentation. I've been in on every stage of the preparatory work. I've done the opening speech. I shall be here to wind up. You're quite happy, aren't you, Harriet?
Yes, yes, of course.
I'll take all the witnesses I can. Miss Peterson will hold the fort while I'm away. She can handle Adele, all right.
I hope so.
I mean no disrespect to Miss Peterson, but we briefed you, Gallagher.
No, you put me in charge of this case, Robert. I'm still in charge of it. My temporary absence will not affect the outcome, I promise you.
That's one promise you better keep.
You, can handle this, can't you?
I've beaten Adele before. That doesn't worry me.
Oh, dear, not you as well.
I don't mind being your junior. I don't like being your accomplice.
Lovely thought. What's the crime?
2 minutes ago, you asked me to agree that presentation was the hardest part. That's not true.
Isn't it?
This case will be won or lost on the cross-examination of Craig Astley and his experts, and we both know that, too.
Let's see how much faith I have in you.
John Gallagher, you are a bastard, and I hate you.
I'll take the road traffic engineer through his proof, then you're on your own.
Trust you to take the easy one.
I'll take the economist next. I'll get it in early that he was personal advisor to the late President of the United States. It'll impress the hell out of the inspector.
That bank will make a bad enemy, John. So will Best.
You only make enemies when you lose. And you won't let me lose, will you, Harriet?
I have a little present for you, John. A going-away present. I found it in an antique shop in Luthwaite.
Charming. Thank you, Harriet. What is it? Gluttony?
Of course not, John. You never overeat. I rather think it's mammon.
$28 a week in the quarries. That's 11 more than I made pig farming.
It made a great deal of difference?
Yes, miss, it did. You can live on 28 if you have to. 17 is just existing.
What will a new trading estate mean to you?
Oh, regular hours, chance to be with a wife and kids, clean job, inside in the winter, a real treat that would be. Decent money.
Go on.
Well, I used to have a car. Not much, second-hand, but it was all we needed. Take the wife and kids out on Sundays. Well, maybe we could do it again.
Are there many people in your situation?
Hundreds, miss.
And do they share your views about this new industrial estate?
That's hearsay, sir. If my learned friend wants to know what certain people think about this scheme, she can call them as witnesses.
The point is made. Thank you, Mr. Hesketh.
I think the inspector would like to know something about you, Mr. Hesketh. You're a pig farmer.
A labourer, yes.
Good at your job?
No complaints.
Until recently.
Well, that had nothing to do with my work.
That's your story. You were sacked, yes?
For coming here.
Your employer dismissed you because you were incompetent.
I was not.
Because you were lazy and incompetent.
Because I said I would come here and give evidence.
So you were wrongfully dismissed?
Yes, I was.
Have you issued legal proceedings for damages?
What?
Have you consulted solicitors?
Well, what for?
If you were dismissed for the reasons you say, then you are entitled to compensation for wrongful dismissal. Have you taken any step to obtain that compensation?
Well, I haven't got money for lawyers.
Now that my learned friend has drawn your attention to your legal rights, will you take it from me that legal aid is available for such cases?
If you say so, miss.
If you find you will be financially assisted to take such proceedings, will you do so?
I'll sue the pants off him, miss.
Thank you, Mr. Hesketh.
And not the least of the County Council's objections is that our heritage is shrinking visibly because of just such encroachments as these. Now, with your permission, sir, I will call Brigadier Craig Astley. Are you Brigadier Dennis Edward Craig Astley?
Yes, I am.
And do you live at Luthwaite Hall, Luthwaite, And are you chairman of the Luthwaite Planning Committee?
Yes.
Do you have with you your written statement of evidence?
Yes, I do.
Will you read it, please? Your proof refers to your fears that this whole area will be spoiled.
Yes, it does.
Why should that be?
Because it always happens. They drown a valley to make a reservoir, and first the plants are destroyed, and then the fish, and then the birds. And something that was alive and beautiful for centuries becomes orderly and placid and dead. And we do it all the time. It's known as progress. Look at South Wales. Look at the Durham coalfields. We raped that land. We destroyed it. That had been beautiful for centuries. Inside a decade, it was a monument to ugliness. All it could produce was money, and now even the money is drying up. But the land's still there. The stag heaps, cottages like cells, mountain waiting to slide and crunch a village. And that's what our grandfathers understood by development. It hasn't changed.
But there is need for more employment in this region.
Oh, yes, yes, most certainly.
What do you suggest, sir?
Well, there are cities, Mr. Liddell, not very far from here. Places once as beautiful as this. They were developed. The bulldozers of 100 years ago, in the same name, progress. Well, use them, revive them. And if it means moving people, move them. This is a very small island. It'll only remain fit to live in if we preserve what we have now, every foot of it. Draw a line on a map, beyond that, no more. Well, you may say that's arbitrary, and it may be. But unless that stand is taken, and unless that line is drawn, we shall be guilty of destroying our heritage and of polluting the future. I don't know about the rest of you, but I couldn't live with that.
Let me say at once, Brigadier, that I'm sure no one in this room, certainly not me, doubts your sincerity. Many of us share your belief that we must leave enough of the countryside for people to enjoy. But there are two sides to every coin, wouldn't you agree?
This isn't a coin. I don't admit the validity of any argument that denies mine.
We'll see. Who benefits if your argument prevails?
Everyone.
In what way?
Well, better quality of life. The environment in which they live is improved.
Define quality.
Oh, no. You know what I mean.
Yes, I think I do. You mean that given the leisure, the money, the time, people can enjoy the quality you seek for them?
Yes.
But if they don't have the leisure, the money, the time?
Well, that's outside my control.
Well, that is not so. You, your council, could have granted this planning permission and almost overnight improved the quality of life for many hundreds of people.
Oh, no, I can't accept that. No, you put the whole responsibility on my shoulders.
Where else should I put it? Do you shut your eyes to the problems of unemployment? To the loss of dignity and the men who live on state charity? What if every landowner shared your view?
We must say stop now before too much is destroyed, and then, I don't know, government science must find answers to these other problems.
You want a utopia?
Oh, yes, I want a better world. I want to fight to keep what's good.
So do I. So do we all. But for days now, we have heard evidence of need. That there are manufacturers almost queuing up to occupy the factories that will be built on this land. They are not philanthropists. They know there is a need they can fill. We have heard of rising unemployment, which will probably be solved for many years by this scheme. We have heard that in some cases, factories built here will produce goods to be sold abroad, the benefit of which will be felt by the whole community. Do these facts mean nothing to you?
I know these problems exist. They must be solved elsewhere.
Where? Is there anywhere in this county to which you would not object?
If you're talking about rural areas, frankly, no. Yeah, but people come from all over England just to see it, to walk over it, just to enjoy it. If you take it away from them, they'll never get it back. Never.
In other words, for you, a thing of beauty is a joy to be preserved forever.
Yes.
No matter how much human misery is perpetuated in the preserving?
I don't have answers to all the problems, but I fight for what I believe in. I believe in this.
Thank you, Brigadier.
Yes, we'll adjourn for lunch, I think, Mr. Liddell.
I don't think we need worry very much if Gallagher doesn't get back for his closing speech.
I don't think you need worry at all, Mr. Farber. He'll be here.
The evidence has been fully, on occasions exhaustingly given. Now, I have inspected the site and properties belonging to those witnesses who claim they will be affected by the proposed development. It is now my duty to prepare a report and make recommendations to the Minister. In due course, the Minister's decision will be notified to all parties. I can assure you, Sir John, this matter will be processed with all possible dispatch. Ladies and gentlemen, this inquiry is now closed.
How soon will that be?
Oh, 8 months if it's urgent, 6 if it's vital.
It's vital to me.
Farber's?
I suppose so.
I guess it'll be 6 then.
Thank you.
Not at all. You're a very clever woman. But you're wrong, totally wrong. Land isn't just money, you know, it's people. One's own people and the others who just come and look and enjoy it. You think they'll come and look at Best's plastic paradise? Good day to you.
What did I tell you, Miss Peterson? He's still in the Middle Ages, killing dragons.
Except that nowadays the dragons have the best experts.
Miss Peterson, so nice of you to come.
It was kind of you to invite me, Lady Beste. Isn't that beautiful?
Would you like to leave your coat?
No, thank you, not for the moment. Has Sir John arrived?
John Gallagher?
Yes.
No, he's not coming.
Oh? I thought this was a joint invitation.
No, we heard you had a case nearby. Robert thought you might like to dine with us. Come and sit down and get warm. Were the roads dreadful?
I managed. No, thank you.
I think you manage everything you set your mind to. Oh, I hate this cold. I tried to persuade Robert to take me to Bermuda. Or somewhere. He says he's too busy.
Isn't that a coincidence? I'm always too busy to go to Bermuda.
My dear Miss Peterson, I'm so glad you could manage to come.
Miss Peterson?
I hope this is simply a dinner invitation.
It's a celebration.
Oh? What are we celebrating?
It won't be official till tomorrow, but we got our planning permission.
Congratulations. No, thank you, not for me.
Something wrong?
You want something from me. What is it?
I come bearing gifts, Miss Peterson. I'm simply loaded with goodies.
Really?
We were very impressed with you, Miss Peterson. Farbers have a lot of clients like Sir Robert here, landowners with property ripe for development. But it needs someone with your skill to get the most out of it. I'm thinking of one place in particular in Warwickshire. Now, I have a personal stake in it, and I'd like you to act for me.
And what did you say we'd do?
We?
Don't worry, Harriet. I'll make room for you.
Well, they didn't ask for you, John, just for me.
I've never seen the poetry in poetic justice. Now even the justice escapes me.
And me. I turned it down.
Sell all that thou hast and give to the poor.
It must be the time of year, John. Peace on earth, goodwill towards men. Happy Christmas.
Happy? Of course, that's why they asked me to read the lesson. Oh, thank you, Harriet. You almost make me feel ashamed.
And not before it's time, John. You know, I sometimes think of you as one of the 3 wise men. But only sometimes.